What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and if this is your first time joining us, we are currently rolling through the Kiss discography, and today we are touching on the Kiss concept album, Music from the Elder. Now, if you've never heard this album, which would make no sense to go watch an album review if you've never listened to the album, this is when Kiss decided to tell a storyline that Gene wrote about that made people, when it came out, so mad. And people hated it. It performed so poorly that they never even toured it. They performed it like one time on ABC or something. Never touched it again. They just scrapped it and were like, fuck it, we gotta do something else. The band looks back on it and says they hate it. But this album, since then, has grown to a cult-like following that some people hail this as their best album and beg them to go on tour with it. So what happened in between that time and this time, I don't know. Maybe some people really like it. Maybe some people just want to be the outlier. Who knows? But we're going to get into my thoughts on it. And I have a good time with this album. And the more time goes on, I start to enjoy it more and more and more because I get to look at it from hindsight. But that doesn't mean there's not some stinkers on it. Coming in last place, the thing they thought was going to send this album over the moon, baby, and that is A World Without Heroes. I don't like this song on this album. I don't like this song acoustic. I don't like this song in any situation. A World Without Heroes, nothing is good to say about it, so if I can't say nothing nice, I'm just going to skip to number 10, Odyssey, where Paul Stanley sings like the Cowardly Lion. That's all I can hear every single time I have to listen to this album. I skip it because all I can see is the fucking Cowardly Lion just going, "From a far off galaxy, I hear you calling me." Like, dude, once I had the image, the mental image of that's the Cowardly Lion, I can never listen to this song again. The chorus is fine, but dude, the build up to the chorus drives. I hate Paul's voice in that song so much that I would put an opening number 9 fanfare above it. That's just like wind instruments and random stuff going. I skip that song, but I would rather put that above hearing the Cowardly Lion belt out some shit about an Odyssey. Number 8, yet another instrumental, Escape from the Island, which again I will skip, but it's not performed bad. It just does nothing for me when I'm listening to the album. I don't listen to this thing front to back, like, let me dive into this concept album like it's The Wall. I will pick and choose what I want to hear, but it's not a bad addition to the album, which takes me to number 7, and this is where I start enjoying the album a fair amount. I really do find a lot of enjoyment in this album. I know some people I talk to hate this album. I know some people who say it's a masterpiece. I'm right down the middle. I have a fun time with this album. Number 7, Mr. Blackwell. Does it fit the concept, in quotes? I don't think at all. If you try to understand the concept of the album, Mr. Blackwell doesn't really fit the vibe, but it's not a terrible song. It's got a catchy chorus. It's Gene doing what Gene does. Nothing fancy, nothing to write home about, but not egregious. Number 6, the power anthem, the ending credits, the freaking ribbon tying on the bow of the album, whatever. It's catchy, it's got a lot of power to it. It's like, fuck yeah, we beat Mr. Blackwell, and we escaped that island, and we sang Odyssey, and we did all this, so now let's tie it up with and it's fine. It's a strong ending. It makes me think of if this was a movie like they wanted it to be, or Gene wanted it to be specifically. This would be where the credits are rolling. Not a bad ender. Going into my top 5, I'm hitting songs that I genuinely do enjoy, and I will go out of my way to find these songs and listen to them. Unlike Unmasked, and if you heard that review, where I have nothing I go find from that album, this one that is one of the most divisive and hated or loved albums, I actually go skim through and find some, and my top 5 is a strong entry, in my opinion, Only You. It has kind of a darker edge to it. It's good Gene, good sounding voice. This might be the best his voice sounds on the album. And it's just a solid song. And not that I listen to the concept of the album, but if you're listening to the album roll through track by track by track by track, This one flows very well with the album, just like my number 4, which is a very strong entry by Ace, not just on this album, but in all of Kiss discography with Ace in it, and that is Dark Light. And a lot of people I see have that as their highest on this album. I enjoy this song a lot. It's very strong Ace, solid riff, catchy. This album has some great musicianship and riffs to it. And the way they incorporate outside things like choirs and stuff adds a lot to this album. If I went and saw him live, I would honestly hope that he played this one over some of his bigger hits. I would be like, if he played Dark Light, we're going hard, baby. But we're hitting the top 3. Do they sound like traditional Kiss? No. Do they sound like any other version of Kiss? No. But god damn it, do I love them. Number 3, Under the Rose. For whatever reason, it's not a traditional song, but when that choir comes in and they're asking him if he will sacrifice, dude, it packs a punch. It comes in heavy. It just sounds so big. But it brings me into my number 2 and my number 1. My number 2, I've touched on how much I hate in Unmasked the high singing. But for whatever reason, in Just a Boy, dude, as my number 2, Paul Stanley singing in that song is so catchy. I just like mill around my house singing it. Like, I'll just be putting shit in the microwave and I'm just, I am just a boy. Just casually. I'll just be driving, too young to be sailing, all the time, dude. And this definitely has some wicked Pink Floyd influences. It's the same. There's a part in Shine On You Crazy Diamond that is the exact fucking same as after the first time he does his whole I Want to Be Sailing, where it's Ace playing this very David Gilmour-esque, or I doubt Ace played it, but whoever played it, very David Gilmour-esque solo with that same bank, backing guitar. Bank, just for like a little 7-second section of this song that is so Floyd-inspired. And I know the dude who did The Wall helped with this album. I don't know if he did the whole thing. I'm not all up to snuff on my Kiss facts, so anything I say inaccurate, don't take it to heart. Just correct it in the comments, politely, preferably. But number 1, dude, this one goes hard in the paint, dude. Man, if you were to put this on any other album and didn't have some concept thing, like lyrically maybe it wouldn't work, but the song itself would work so good. I don't like the highs all the time, but in this song, man, there's something about this album where they fucking nail it with this song, and it is such a solid intro. I know some people love this album and some hate it, so which one are you? Put it in the comments down below. What's your ranking? Were you around when this came out and did you hate it? Are you older like me and you love it? Is it nothing to you? Do you forget it exists? Put it all down in the comments below, guys. I love reading what y'all have to say. You guys are the best. See you for the next one. Peace.